Hey, what's up with it, King? What's up with it, Queen? You already know who it is. It's your big brother, Demont Pope, aka Mr. Purpose over pointless excuses. Listen, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be here with me today, to tune in, to listen. Look, we've been bringing you special guests every week, and guess what? It don't stop. It continues. I have another special guest for you today. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. She's doing some amazing things, and we're going to allow you guys to be a part of it, and we want to pour into you, inspire you, educate you, right? Motivate you, and ultimately empower you so that you too can take action and live your purpose. All right. So without further delay, all right, I want to present to some and introduce to others, Miss Carla Alonzo. Yeah. What's up, Carla?
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you.
Great morning, Carla. Thank you so much for answering the call. And I know that we're in different time zones, so it's a lot earlier where you are than where I am. So I do honor the commitment, and I don't take it for granted, and I don't take it lightly. So thank you for being here with us today, Carla.
No problem. I told you to have me bushy-eyed tail early in the morning.
You did. You absolutely did. All right. So I know you, Carla. I know a little bit about you, growing to become pretty fond of you. All right. Like I said, you got some amazing things going on. Your energy is incredible, very positive, inspiring. So I want the listeners and viewers to get to know you the way I do, if not better. OK, so Carla, first off, tell us who exactly is Carla Alonzo and what exactly is it that you do?
So I'm Carla Alonzo. I started a business about 3 years ago. It's California Transaction Services. I'm the CEO and the business owner to a real estate firm, but it's not selling real estate. So I'm the liaison for real estate agents. We do all the paperwork. And then I'm a youth speaker. I'm on the board of Latinas Contra Cancer. I'm the board director. And I'm also doing workshop facilitation right now at the moment.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So say that last part. You say it again.
I'm a workshop facilitator.
Yeah. Okay. So workshop facilitator, right? Youth speaker, right? And you're also CEO, right? Liaison, right? So you wear many hats. You wear many hats. So you're doing some wonderful things, like I told the listeners. All right. So I didn't lie to y'all. All right. Y'all witnessing that. Now, Carla, with all of the many hats that you're wearing, right? It's very obvious. It's very clear that you're passionate about living your purpose, walking in your purpose. Now, when we started this season in these episodes, it was primarily just to spark a little flame of inspiration to future entrepreneurs or business owners, but it's grown since then, and it's now just boiled down to basically purpose. I want the listeners and viewers to know that purpose looks good on them. So answer me this, Carla, has this always been something that you wanted to do, those three titles, or did they always kind of intertwine, or did you just realize it in your adult years that, hey, I'm going to be a CEO, hey, I'm going to be a youth speaker, hey, I'm going to be a workshop facilitator, like I'm going to do all of these great and amazing things, right? Is that new, or has it always been something?
Definitely new. So the real estate part, it's something I did for a living for about 15 years. My mom, when I was growing up, she had her own construction company. And of course, I was always in the real estate world. And somebody actually told me, she goes, you should start your own business, you know? And I was like, oh, I think that sounds great, because I have 4 children. But I said, okay, perfect. And then after I went through my trial of cancer, so cancer is where my life completely turned around. After going through cancer, then I realized I got a second chance at life. So now I have a purpose. So now my purpose was whatever I healed after my cancer was to go out there. And that's where I learned. And I knew that it had to do with my purpose was to speak to the youth, because all my trauma and the reasons I got sick was because I was holding on to so many traumas from my past that I want other kids to be able to not go through the same thing and master something that they've never been able to master. So that's where the purpose came from.
Oh my goodness. Right. So you want kids, right, basically to learn from your missteps and mistakes, right? And you want them to have a better future, right, by capitalizing off of your mistakes, right? That's amazing. That's oh my goodness, that's amazing. And you said it just kind of happened, right? Because now I know you, but I'm learning something new about you. Like, I didn't know about the struggle and the battle that you had with cancer. So I didn't know that was some opposition. Like, that's some very, very serious opposition and adversity. So I want to highlight that so the viewers and listeners will know, like, in the pursuit of purpose, in the pursuit of you finding what it is that you were put on this earth to do, it's going to be some challenges. Life going to throw you some curveballs. It's going to throw you some stuff that you're not ready for. Like, I guarantee you wasn't ready to get a diagnosis about cancer, but you didn't let it lay you on your back. You kept fighting, and look at you today. So I'm grateful for that. And I wanted to highlight that for the listeners and viewers, Carla. So thank you so much for that purpose. Now, what happened, it seems as though as you were going through the struggle of overcoming and defeating that cancer, and you've also mentioned that you're a mother of 4, right? So congratulations for being a mother. Like, we love the moms on here. Like, I wouldn't be here without my mom, and I'm a father of 5. So I definitely dig the parents. Shout out to all the parents and kids too. We love y'all too.
Definitely.
You guys are the reason why we have a purpose. All right. So now, Carla, let me ask you this. What is one of the most important lessons that you've learned over your career? Now, before you answer that, I want to talk about the fact that you have a background in real estate. Like you said, you have about 15 years in real estate, which is how you earned a living, which is how you paid your bills, which is how you feed your children. And then from that, right, that's when you branched out into your purpose of speaking and empowering, right?
Correct.
Okay, so now, what is one very important lesson, or the most important lesson that you've learned over your career? Now, this can be from the perspective of real estate, or from the perspective of a mother, or from the perspective of a cancer survivor, or from the perspective of a successful entrepreneur and speaker. So you got so many hats. So I know you've learned a lot of lessons. Just give us 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
So I think for me, my biggest lesson was when I actually went on my own. It was the hardest decision to do because I was working from a job, right? So you get like that pay where it's a stable, steady income that comes in. Yeah. But the most amazing thing about going on my own was to have the freedom. I'm my own business owner. I have time to spend with my kids. If any doctor appointment comes, I mean, it's there, but there is so much struggles. There's a lot of challenges to having your own business because you're until you get assistance, you're committed to your clients and constantly working your butt off all the time. I mean, I travel, my laptop goes everywhere I go. I feel like I have no time off until finally, after a year and a half, I was able to hire an assistant. So it actually helps me out a lot now. But it gives me a lot more freedom to be able to be with my kids and actually be able to tell other kids, because I remember growing up, it was like, do this. I mean, my mom was always an entrepreneur, but she never really taught me how to be an entrepreneur. I just saw her kind of, just go for it. So me learning and being able to even tell my kids now, like, no, you're not going to work for somebody else. Like you have a purpose, you're so amazing at this. I want you to follow that dream and could put, push on your own and have your own business. I feel like everybody should have their own business or at least some type of business. And then, with the purpose, I feel like after cancer and being able to speak to other people, just even being on the board right now, making changes for other women on health, other things. I feel like I do have a lot of hats, but I love it. I enjoy it because there's purpose and then there's the fun things that I like to do. Yeah. So after, the second chance, it's kind of like I get to do all these fun things for myself.
My goodness. And you highlighting the second chance. See, it's nothing like coming to a situation where your life is in danger to really, really, really honor and value life and the time that we have. And I've noticed you mentioned a couple of times that second chance. So like you, like so many more of us have had a second chance in life. It may not have been a battle with cancer. In my case, it was a battle, ducking, running from gunshots and stuff like that, growing up and being robbed. And I've had a 12-gauge shotgun put to my head. And once you experience things like that, there's a trauma that's associated with it. So you value a second chance. Like I value a second chance. You value another chance. And so many of us, Carla, are getting second chances, third chances, but we're wasting them. So I'm glad you're highlighting the importance of that second chance and identifying that purpose. And something else I want to highlight for the listeners and viewers is that you talked about helping people walk into that purpose of entrepreneurship, business ownership, because you feel like everybody should run their own business. Everybody should be a business owner, right? Everybody should have the freedom, the liberty, but it's going to be some things that come with that, some challenges. And we're going to talk about the challenges a little bit later on. So I like how you tapped around that. So you all in the vein of where we're going right now with this. All right. So let me ask you this now, in your opinion, right? What is one of the most important personality traits or strengths that a person would need to do what you do with the many hats? Because you said you got a lot of hats, all right, but you love it. And I want to highlight something else. When you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. Now, I've said that several times on this season in these episodes. I don't remember if I read it somewhere or heard it somewhere, but I've never forgotten it, right? Once you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. And it seems as though you truly love what you do, Carla, and we can tell. So what are some of the most important personality traits that a person would need to do what you do?
I think you can't take things personal, especially because we do have a lot of people that are very, very extremely demanding. There's some people that are not so kind. So you have to just be able to go with it without taking it personal, but also put your boundaries and, and value yourself and respect yourself and let other people know also, right, that they have to respect and you have boundaries. Because when I first started, I can tell you that I would start early in the morning just to get work done, but people would call me really late. And I was like, or really early in the morning, just because, it's real estate. Everybody's up really early, really late. So I had to set boundaries where I was like, this is a time I open. This is the time I close. Please don't call me after that. This is like my Sundays are my Sundays to my family. So always setting boundaries and actually in having compassion, right? Because we deal with so many agents and clients and different stuff. So you sometimes have to have compassion for these people, because sometimes they'll tell you the really sob stories. I mean, really, really sad stories. So you have to have that compassion and listen to them and kind of be a counselor. I feel like a lot of the times as well too.
Wow. So boundaries. Right. You got to set boundaries. Like my wife be telling me this, Carla, she be like, you, because my heart is so big, you know what I mean? Right. And it'd be funny coming from her because her heart is big, just like mine is. Right. But she be telling me all the time, Carla, like, you have to teach people how to treat you. Like, you just, you know what I'm saying? You just can't have, yourself open at all times of day, for people to call you when they got issues, because I got guys that reach out to me for mentorship. And I want to honor that. First of all, I'm humbled, right? By them even viewing me in a way that they feel as though they can gain value from me. We talking adult men as well as young teenage boys and little kids as well that I'm involved in mentoring. So my wife is like, hey, you have to have boundaries, because you're speaking all over the place. You're doing virtual presentations, and then you're mentoring, you're consulting with school systems and superintendents, and you're doing a lot. You're in the mentoring program. You're in the Speakers Academy. You're in the Next Level Elite. Like, you got a lot going on. So we need boundaries. We need a schedule, and something else you said, right? And it's balance. You didn't use the word balance, but I'm going to use the word balance when you said Sundays, right, are for the family. So you have to balance your work time with the family time. And that's something that I'm learning to do, Carla, because I've just been a workaholic. I'm just goal oriented. I got to get this accomplished. I got to do this. And then I realized, like, I can't continue giving my work or giving my career, right, 100% or the best of me, and then giving my family and those who I care for the rest of me or what's left. You get what I'm saying? Excuse me. So it's important to have that balance. So thank you, Carla, for highlighting that. Now, exactly when you stand up in front of some young people, this is what I'm just throwing out there, right? When you stand up in front of young people, I want you to talk about the fulfillment, the feeling. Like, how does it feel when you stand up in front of a group of young people and you share, right, the parts of your story that you normally wouldn't tell anybody because you're either ashamed of, or you just kind of don't like the memory of that. But I found that in most cases, those are the stories that impact and help people the most. So tell me about a time when you stood up and you shared your story and you can actually feel and know for a fact that you made an impact. So I just threw that out there. Don't get me later.
So actually, just recently, I shared with a circle of girls. We're talking about domestic violence, right, and our self-respect for ourselves. And there's one little thing that I was telling my daughter. I said, "You're like a rose, right? So you're just like this beautiful rose." And I said, and every time somebody does something to you that is that is not allowed to be touched or anything. I said, they're destroying, your leaves of every rose. I said, so by the end of it, I said, you're looking at this white rose that has like these brown marks in it. I said, how does that, that rose look? And then she's like, it's destroyed. So we're talking to a couple of other girls that were around us. Yeah. And then I said, and I think I was trying to tell her in a way where I was trying to open up to her about my traumas, but there was other. So I'm also a cheer mom for my daughter's team. So we're just having this big conversation, right? Because there's this gym is really big. So there were so many girls in there, and I was trying to talk to them because we've seen a lot of, the way they have these little girls wearing, these little shirts and stuff. And, they're like just showing their bodies and body parts, right? So I was like, you guys have to learn how to value yourself. And I'm trying to, go back to my story where I was telling them, I always was looking for attention of, the wrong people, wrong men, because I didn't have a dad. I said, so I'm trying to tell you guys, wow. This rose, when it falls apart, I said, you can't put back this beautiful rose anymore. Like it's destroyed rose. And I said, so what do we do? So it was opening up to all these young women in the gym was amazing, because a lot of them after this were able to talk to me about a lot of the stuff they've been through, things that they have not been able to open up and talk to their parent about or anybody else because they didn't know how to do it. And they said, and it's hard to even talk to your friend, because when you do talk to your friend, they're in the same age and they don't really understand. They're just like, oh, like you're fine, get over it. And so a couple of them went up to me and said, this was amazing. We were able to feel what you're feeling because we were there too. And now we know who do we come to speak to. So it's amazing that, some kids, they don't know who to go to, but when you tell your story, then they come after you, they come talk to you after. And you just kind of like want to grab them and like be like the mama bear and be like, come here.
Absolutely.
Share that with them.
And the thing is, Carla, you're right. So many kids, we're talking about from primary school to secondary school. Like we're talking about little kids, right? We're talking about middle school age kids, high schoolers, like even young adults, Carla, like they have so much going on. There's so much hurt. There's so much trauma. There's so many questions, so much confusion, but they don't know who to turn to, because most adults, from kids' perspective, we're always trying to be the authority and dictator, right? And they can't relate to us. But when someone opens up, like when we take the stage as speakers, or we take any platform, right? And we open up and we share our hurt, right? We share our pain, right? That pain propels us to purpose. And those young people, right? They hear these stories and instantly we have credibility because we've shown them that we're humans just like they are. So when you began to talk to those young girls about valuing themselves, right? Let's not skip over the fact that you were pouring not just into their ears, but you were pouring into their lives, letting them know that once you value yourself, there's a certain way that you dress. You don't have to reveal all of your body parts to get accepted from men, right? Because once you value yourself, you become valuable to everybody around you, and that right person, right? He's going to see that value, young lady. So I just wanted to pause for the cause and speak to my young ladies that's viewing or listening to this. Like Carla just mentioned something very vital about you knowing your value and respecting yourself, right? Know your worth, right? Know that you're worth more than that, right? You don't have to show everything that you were blessed and gifted with, right? Because there is a appropriate time, an appropriate place. And, me personally, I like to say that appropriate time and place is called marriage. You understand what I'm saying? And it's for a reason. We try to go around that, but it helps you avoid a lot of the issues that we're victims of and statistics of today. So wow, we didn't even mean to go that direction, but somebody needed to hear that, or else it wouldn't have come up and it wouldn't have come out unless somebody needed it. So thank you for that, Carla. And thank you for that transparency, because I just threw that question out of nowhere. You wasn't even ready for it. You didn't even see it coming. I snuck one on you.
Got to be ready all the time, right?
Hey, you got to stay ready so you never have to get ready, right? All right, so we on the same page. So we're going to keep moving on along here. We're moving pretty rapidly, pretty swiftly. And I hope that the people are catching what you're dropping. So listen, if you're getting value, right, from what you're hearing from your big brother Demont here and your big sis Carla over there, I need you to hit the subscribe button, right? Yeah, hit the notification bell so that you know every time we release a new content, right? Also, I need you to hit the thumbs up if you're really getting value from it, right? Like it. And lastly, I need you to share it, right, with someone in your community, right? Don't be stingy with the information. Don't be stingy with the inspiration and the motivation. Like, share that. Your purpose is to share her. All right. So we want everybody to be a part of the growth and success, because that's what we all about. We're about purpose. And we stopped through to let you know that purpose looks good on you. I'm sitting here with Miss Carla Alonzo. Let's get back to this interview, Carla. All right. Check it out. Right now, we talked about challenges earlier. Yep. And I told you that we were going to get back into it because you danced around it, you tapped around it. But now we want to get into it because a lot of young people, right? And I mean that whether you're young at age or young at heart. So a lot of us, we feel as though we want to attempt something or we want to try something, Carla. But when we find out that it's going to be hard, we change our mind. Or we take it back, like we take our ball back and we go home. We don't want to play no more, right? But we need people to know that we have to embrace challenge because challenge is a part of life. It's a part of growth. As a matter of fact, it's necessary for us to grow. Like you can't get stronger if you're lifting the same amount of weight every day. Now you may maintain, right? And you may stay toned, but you can't get stronger until you add more weight to what you're lifting, right? Or you can't get faster, right? Until you add more to your route or to your routine as you're running. Now, let's talk about a time. Matter of fact, let's talk about a current time right now, Carla. Tell us about tell us about a challenge that you're facing right now, right? In your business, right? And let us know how you're dealing with it, because we need to have practical steps to be able to maneuver through these challenges so that we don't tuck tail and run, right?
So challenge in my business right now. I actually fired a lot of people recently.
Fired. You ain't fired.
I fired a couple of people for the fact that, remember how I was talking about respect and boundaries and stuff. And I feel like my piece is more for me than anything else. So there was people that were coming in and just being very, very extremely demanding, really rude, and just, I don't know, they just weren't a match. And I've had them for quite some time now. So I felt like, you know what, this year I'm going to start and remove a lot of those people that I just mess with my peace. And so, I mean, it's business and it sucks because I mean, it is income, but at the same time, I'm like, my peace is more important. So I let go of a couple of, about a handful of people this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was my challenge, because I was like, do I put up with it? Do I deal with it? Because, you know, it is a lot of money coming in, or do I just let them go? And prayed about it, and nope, just gotta let him go. I had to let him go. So that was a challenge for me, because, you know, there's income and then peace. And I was like, what do I do? And I said, oh, my peace is more important right now, especially because, you know, we're speaking to the youth, and I don't want to feel so stressed out. And, you know, when the kids are here, and I was catching myself snapping at them a lot, you know, because I do work from home. So they would open the door and they'd walk in the room and they're like, Mom. And I'm like, what?
You too.
And they're like, wow. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm stressed out. You know, people are just on me 24/7, and now I'm taking out on my kids. And I was like, yeah, it's not worth it.
Wow. And then I can imagine, right, the weight on your shoulder, because first of all, it's a lot of weight when you're an employer. That means you created a business, you created something that was able to provide, right, income, not just for you, but someone else to be able to take care of their family. So when you talk about firing now, we made light of it in the beginning, because I know anytime somebody mentioned the word fire, that's traumatic for some. So I wanted to kind of make light of it, but now I want to bring it full circle to talk about the challenge of it. That's not a easy thing to do. That's not an easy thing to do when you're talking about, hey, I'm going to have to let you go. And then they're like, well, how am I going to take care of my family? How am I going to pay my bills? But you said something else that was important, Carla. You keep dropping gems, right? And I'm going to keep highlighting them. You was like, yeah, it's a lot of money, right? But my peace is more important. Now, one of the previous questions, you was talking about letting the young ladies know about their value and how much they're worth. Like, you had to know how much your peace is worth in order for you to make a educated, right, decision to say, hey, okay, now these people have been disturbing my peace for quite some time. Yeah, we're bringing in money. Financially, we're successful, but holistically, I'm not successful. Holistically, I'm not successful because mentally, I'm ill mentally. Yeah, mentally, I'm not healthy because I'm stressed out. And how did I know I'm stressed out? The key indicator is when those girls open that door and you began to snap on them. You begin to know, hey, I'm not well, because they've done nothing to me but what they normally are supposed to be doing. Correct. So what is it that's causing me to respond to them like that? Parents, this is a message for you, right? And I too, Carla, have to recognize and stay conscious of that, because a lot of times I'll find myself, because I told you, I'm very goal oriented. So when I'm hammering on a project or when I'm working on something, I'm trying to pound on it until I get it done, right? But kids, they don't know, right? They don't know what state of mind you're in when it's time for them to come and seek attention, because most of the time I'm also here working from home if I'm not traveling, right? And when they come into the office or in the studio and I'm in the middle of a presentation and I'm upset and I'm angry, but I have to stop for a minute and realize I have to balance. We're talking about balance again, right? I have to pull back maybe from what I'm doing if I can, and then give them just a few minutes, right? Parents, this is a lesson in parenting, right? I know y'all didn't tune in to get lessons on parenting, but we're here to add value. We're here to add purpose. And that's a part of our purpose. Those of us who are parents, right? Our purpose is to be the best parents that we can be. We're not competing with our parents, or we're not competing with other parents, but our purpose in parenting is to raise up our children so that they are self-sufficient even in our absence. So when the kids come in there and they getting on your nerve, don't do like me and Carla was doing. Don't be fussing at the babies, right? Just take time out, pause, give them about 2 to 5 minutes of uninterrupted attention. That's all they need, about 2 to 5 minutes, maybe 10, right? 10 minutes at the most, and then they'll be going on about their business, right? So again, hope you're getting value from that. Frustration. You had to let the people go in order to preserve your peace. Now, I released one, I believe it was my last episode from the very first season when I launched this podcast, Carla. And that very last episode was titled Protect Your Peace, right? So if y'all haven't checked that out, go and check that out a little bit. It's different, you know what I mean? It ain't no interview. It's just me pouring value, just pouring out of my heart what God has given to me to give to the people. So go check that out if y'all can, right? Now, Carla, you had to protect your peace. And I can't imagine that it was easy, but was it worth it?
Definitely worth it, because I've noticed I take time, and I'm in a better mood now, and I make more time for the family. I've noticed I've scheduled time off for myself, for the kids, for everybody. So when they walk in, I'm like, hey, what do you want? You know, and I'm like, oh, come, have a conversation with me. You know, it's a lot different now. Yeah, especially the one that I would actually yell at, not by accident, of course, because he'd walk in the middle. He gets his feelings hurt really, really easy. So it was one that I would have to run after. I'm like, I'm sorry, come in. I'm sorry, I'm just stressed out. I'm just having a rough day. And he's like, well, it's not my fault. And he's right. It's not his fault, that I'm having a bad day. Yeah. So no, I enjoy it. Now I feel like my energy is even better. I wake up earlier. When I check my emails, I don't feel like, oh, that person email or my phone rings. I'm like, it's not that person calling me, or no, there's certain people calling me. Like now I'm like, yes, hello, how can I help you? Yeah. Completely different.
So sometimes, guys, that very thing that is challenging you the most may very well be the necessary adjustment that you need to make. Okay, teachers, right? That kid that you feel like is constantly getting on your nerve. Like every time they show up to school or show up in the classroom, it's always something. They always got something going on. So let's take a message here and realize that, hey, that child may be acting out because it may be something else that they're not completely whole in, right? And also it may be frustrating you or aggravating or irritating you because you may be mentally overwhelmed. So, hey man, this episode isn't highlighting mental health, but we sure are talking about it because mental health is a real thing. And you don't want to find yourself struggling with anger, anxiety, depression, or anything like that. Mental breakdowns, like people have mental breakdowns because they're overwhelmed and they're stressed and they don't know how to protect their peace. So parents, right? Teachers, right? Entrepreneurs, business owners, right? Managers, like these are high stress, high level stress occupations, first responders, right? Like all of you who are listening, we just want to allow you to know, we want to inform you that your health is important and we care about you, right? You can't live your purpose if you're unhealthy. So we want you to be healthy mentally and physically. Now, Carla, I'm enjoying this conversation, and I literally always get right here on every interview and I wish I had more time to spend with you, but we're running out of time. But before we get to another question, what I want you to do, Carla, is let us know like where we can connect with you, your social media handles, website. Do you have anything coming up for those who are in the California area? Like what's going on with you and your business, right?
So actually we have a podcast coming up. It's
Hey.
She, Him, and Her podcast with a couple of from California on the next level. And you can follow me on the Carla Alonzo on Instagram.
The Carla Alonzo.
I have nothing coming up just yet, but I'm planning on something hopefully for the summer. So we'll see.
Hopefully for the summer. Hey, we working. Stay tuned, y'all.
Definitely.
All right, listen.
So much.
Thank y'all so much. Hey, remember y'all, subscribe, right? Notification bell. Hit the thumbs up, right? Like, share, comment, whatever you got to do, man. We're here for you. We're here to add value for you. And we like to know if we're doing our job. And if we're not, then we need to pivot. All right. So, Carla, before we get out of here, you can take this and make it a career type of question, or you can just make it a personal question where you just add value and pour out of the spirit of your purpose to that person. That man, that woman, that boy, that girl, that student, right? That teacher or parent or child. They may have gone through some of the things that you've talked about today. They may have struggled with cancer, overcame that, or some may still be battling it, right? They may have struggled with the lack of peace because they have employees or even an employer that's stressing them out, overwhelming them, right? They don't know how to balance the time with the family. The kids show up and then the parents show out. You dig what I'm saying? Right. So like to that person, Carla, like just give us a few moments of inspiration. Like I really just want you to just anything that God may put on your heart to say to that person, right? Or if they want to start out in your particular career field, like what would you say to that person right now?
I'm going to say that challenges always come, but I feel like until you keep pushing and pushing so you can master it, right? So you can keep going over and over. You're going to fail plenty of times, but don't let that failing push you back and just keep pushing forward because like they say, God's not going to give you something if he realizes that you're not going to be able to master it correct. So if you want to go to a different level or anything in your relationship and with your family, with your job, with just anybody in general, you have to fight until you get to it, right? So I feel like that's one thing that I can say for sure, because I know that I've had plenty of challenges and sometimes I want to give up because it feels so extremely hard, but then there's times where after I pass it and I'm able to succeed to the next level, it's like the best feeling in the whole wide world. And if you're fighting cancer, I'm just going to say it's definitely a mindset. Another thing, it's definitely a mindset. You have to keep pushing forward, not making yourself feel like you're sick. I know that's what I did in my mind. I kept telling myself, I'm not sick, I'm fine. I'm going to conquer this. I'm going to get over it. I am going to write my feelings, write everything that was in my heart. I kept constantly always writing journals because I didn't want whatever was affecting me to affect everybody else around me. And journaling is one of the best things you could ever do as well. I do it every day. It helps me mentally and just, I want to forgive somebody or anything. I write it in my journal every day. So every morning I wake up with peace of mind.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I love it. I love it, y'all. Listen, I have really, really been enjoying this conversation with you, Carla. Thank you so much for stopping through to kick it with me and add so much value as we talk about purpose and inspire the listeners and viewers. Listen, hey, y'all, I'm going to be back next week. So I want to thank y'all so much for listening and viewing. And I want to thank you even more for staying tuned in to this entire episode. Listen, I will be back, right? You have the connection information for Carla Alonzo. But until next week, this is big brother Demont Pope, aka Mr. Purpose over Pointless Excuses. That's your big sis, Carla Alonzo. Thank y'all so much. We'll be back next week with a new season and a new episode. Yeah.